The story of Saint Denis of Paris and his companions. Saint Denis, also known as Saint Dionysius, is one of the most revered saints in France, particularly in Paris, where he is venerated as the city's patron saint. His story is intertwined with his role as one of the first Christian missionaries in Gaul, modern-day France, and his martyrdom, which greatly inspired the early Christian community. The mission of Saint Denis, according to tradition, Saint Denis was sent to Gaul in the mid-3rd century, around 250 AD, by Pope Fabian to preach the gospel. He arrived in the region that would later become Paris, which was then known as Lutetia. Denis was accompanied by 2 close companions, Rusticus, who served as a priest, and Eleutherius, a deacon. Together, they were part of a larger group of missionaries working to spread Christianity throughout the Roman Empire, particularly in the remote and pagan regions of Western Europe. Denis and his companions began preaching and converting the local population to Christianity, which quickly attracted the attention of Roman authorities. At the time, Christianity was still a minority religion, and the Roman Empire viewed it with suspicion and hostility due to its refusal to worship the Roman gods and the emperor. Despite this, Denis and his followers made many converts in the region, building a strong Christian community in Paris. Martyrdom of Saint Denis. As Denis's missionary efforts grew more successful, they also became more dangerous. The Roman governor of Lutetia, enraged by the spread of this new faith, ordered the arrest of Denis, Rusticus, and Eleutherius. They were imprisoned and tortured, but they refused to renounce their Christian faith. Eventually, the 3 were condemned to death by beheading on the Mons Mercurius, which later became known as Montmartre, Mountain of the Martyr, in honor of Denis's martyrdom. After Denis was beheaded, he miraculously picked up his severed head and, holding it in his hands, walked several miles while preaching a sermon on repentance. He carried his head northward to the village of Catuliacus, now Saint Denis, where he finally collapsed and died. This miraculous act made Denis one of the most famous cephalophores, head-carrying saints, in Christian tradition. Burial and veneration. Saint Denis was buried at the spot where he finally fell, and over time, a small chapel was built in his honor. This chapel eventually became the Basilica of Saint Denis, one of the most important religious sites in France. The basilica would later become the burial place for the kings of France, cementing Saint Denis' role as a symbol of the nation's Christian heritage and royal authority. Saint Denis' companions, Rusticus and Eleutherius, were also martyred alongside him, and they are venerated as saints. Their relics are said to rest in the same basilica as Denis. Over the centuries, their story became a powerful source of inspiration for French Christians, particularly during times of persecution and conflict. Legacy. Saint Denis, along with his companions, is remembered as one of the great Christian martyrs who brought the faith to France. His miraculous martyrdom and his role as a missionary helped solidify the foundation of Christianity in France, making him a figure of immense spiritual and historical importance. The Basilica of Saint Denis became a major pilgrimage site and remains a significant symbol of both Christian devotion and French national identity. Saint Denis' feast day is celebrated on October 9th, and his image is often depicted in art holding his severed head, symbolizing his unwavering faith and miraculous endurance. Saint Denis is the patron saint of France, Paris, against frenzy, strife, headaches, hydrophobia, possessed people, and rabies.